there's organized pushback on the other side from the industry that has had billions and billions of dollars, if not trillions, invested in this technology and perceives this as a gold rush opportunity, this use of RNA as a drug.
I do want to touch upon the COVID vaccine for a moment because, you've been a vocal critic of that, as have I and many of our colleagues. We've seen in the US now the recommendations for certain groups is now being withdrawn, but there are many of us who believe that product should be withdrawn fully, and not just withdrawn fully, but actually full accountability be applied for its approval, its marketing, its use, to get justice for those who have been harmed. What's your view on the future of the COVID vaccinations? Should they be withdrawn in your personal view? And if so, is there hope that could happen?
So there's various narratives about me and what I support and don't support that are, told by people that really don't pay attention. They have various political agendas. About 3 years ago, as the data to my eyes shifted, and we moved. My initial position early on was that these products should be reserved. It was very much aligned with Martin Kulldorff and the Great Barrington Declaration, that these products should be reserved for the individuals who are at highest risk. And part of that was very pragmatic in my argument, that these are leaky. That's the technical vaccine term they have a significant number of breakthrough infections. And administering a leaky vaccine in a global sense to all cohorts, including those that are not at particular risk for the disease, is pretty much a guaranteed recipe for driving evolution of vaccine-resistant mutant virus. And whether or not that's been the cause and effect, certainly we have had the emergence of increasingly vaccine-resistant virus mutants. And it follows fundamental principles of evolution that would be the case. So does that prove it? No, it's a scientific hypothesis. But there's certainly, the data are consistent with that hypothesis. So that was my position, was that we should reserve these products for the people at very high risk. And at the time, that appeared to be individuals certainly greater than 55 of age or 65, typically morbidly obese, diabetics, and some special populations such as children with cystic fibrosis, just to pull an example out of the hat, children with pre-existing conditions. That was my position back when I wrote op-eds with Peter Navarro for the Washington Times that triggered the Atlantic Monthly attacks and many of the other attacks. Then, as time went by, one gathered more and more data. The community gathered more and more data over time from a wide variety of international sources, up against very strong headwinds. It was very difficult to get access to government data. And part of the best government data, as I recall, came from Scotland at the time until it was started to be censored. But the analysis of those data across multiple sources indicated that as one looked at adverse events associated with the virus, so outcomes from the virus, disease and death, stratified by risk groups, you could, clearly see that there were certain risk groups that were at higher risk of death or significant disease or hospitalization, and others that were at very low risk, say young children. And unfortunately, if you also stratified by risk group, similar risk groups, adverse events associated with the vaccine products, the genetic vaccine products, what you found was that those high-risk groups also were at higher risk for disease and death from the vaccine products. And so when you did what the CDC and others refused to do, of doing a true stratified risk-benefit ratio across these, not just healthy normals, but across the high-risk groups, what you found was that because the risk of the virus and the risk of the vaccine both went up in those groups, that you still maintain this risk-benefit imbalance where the perception was that the risk was higher than the benefit, even in those high-risk groups for disease from the virus. When that became clear, I shifted my position. I'm attacked routinely for having had the earlier position, but they never look at the timestamp. But I shifted my position as the data shifted, which I think is the responsible thing to do. I'm not perfect. When the data changes, you have to change your stance. And I, together with many other physicians, recorded a teleconference, a video conference, press conference at Del Bigtree Studios down in Texas, in which I called for the vaccine products to be withdrawn from the market about 3 years ago. My position on that has not changed. The risk-benefit ratio continues to look even more grim over time. And I just today retweeted some new data that suggests that the situation may be even worse than we thought back then. So the political reality is that, first of all, the president has a sense of ownership of Operation Warp Speed and of these products. That has been tempered over time, but still remains. The political pushback from people like Senator Cassidy, who from Louisiana, who's opposing RFK Jr.'s position and really extracted some concessions during his Senate confirmation hearings, including the right to appoint one of the new members of the ACIP. That hasn't happened yet. And has met with there's a new lobbying organization for mRNA manufacturers in the United States. And Senator Cassidy has met with those people. So there's organized pushback on the other side from the industry that has had billions and billions of dollars, if not trillions, invested in this technology and perceives this as a gold rush opportunity, this use of RNA as a drug.
If you found this eye-opening, this was just one part of my full conversation with Dr. Robert Malone, where we go even deeper into how public health was captured, how vaccine safety has been rigged, and what it will take to break down the pharmaceutical industrial complex. You can watch the full interview right here and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.